Local markets and resources are operated by those of higher castes. Despite the entry of modern banking systems and growing awareness of alternative financing, the flexibility and speed of traditional money lending systems support this difficult sector. While leatherworking and weaving represented clear and present challenges to self-reliant livelihoods, they also emerged as the opportunity and basis for sustained group effort, and for this story of Jawaja. Designs and techniques were refined in dialogue between the artisans and designers to create a quality range of contemporary, saleable products. Products such as bags, belts, wallets, folders, rugs, diary covers, and more. One aim was to reach out to external markets, totally unfamiliar to local power structures, in order to create a measure of self-reliance for the artisans. The design and management volunteers worked alongside the artisans to link existing skills with new products, better materials, and responsive markets. Working towards self-reliance meant nurturing and building on available skills, rather than retraining in new occupations or using capital-intensive machinery. Improved material techniques, faster and more predictable tanning, for instance, followed in consultation with organizations like the Central Leather Research Institute. The weavers and leather crafts groups each have their stories to tell of all this, and the products speak for themselves. With their striking simplicity and rich earth tones, Jawaja products evoke the landscape and ecology of these villages. In them are traces of sand and earth, trees and animals, of patterns and rhythms of the everyday, the very texture of life in the desert. An example of a rug design that a craftsman explained as having evolved in a place of flies and damp earth. The colors, motifs, and design idiom come together when the artisans ask what was special about their environment that could help establish a clear identity for their products. This idiom then influenced design education at NID, partnered by Helena Piranthupa and others there. The artisans began to understand modern marketing and design, emerging as artisan designers in their own right. Jawaja leather products were and are all entirely handmade from leather that is also painstakingly treated and cured manually. The rugs are also entirely hand-woven on looms using hand-spun wool. I love these pictures. Working as a collective, the Artisans Alliance of Jawaja continue to learn together to deal with the challenges of self-reliant entrepreneurship. These challenges include group problem solving, building trust and accountability between members dealing with the promise and complexity of mutuality in a cooperative. What happens to debts when individual members default or leave? avoiding the age-old debt traps by locating new markets outside the control of local power structures, building the capacity to negotiate with distant clients, and locating alternative sources of financing. Each issue a huge challenge in itself. Quality control, stock taking and planning inventory. Developing new strategies of self-help. So how successful has the Jawaja experiment been? A lot has changed since 1975.
पहले तो अलग-अलग
हाँ
सुना था नहीं हकीकत
हाँ
बहुत ही पाबंदी थी अब ऐसी बात नहीं
अब ऐसी बात नहीं है। ये जो काम है ये सारा इससे ही ये बदलाव आया है या
दृष्टि सुधरेगी जब सारा इसमें बदलाव आ जाएगा। जब तक आर्थिक स्थिति कमजोर होगी तो उसमें कोई
कोई सहयोग नहीं देगा।
Once barred from using certain village wells, members of lower caste groups have acquired access to this water, scarce as it is. People who could not afford to eat once a day now eat twice and own houses. Jawaja's distinctive products exhibit and sell today in national and global markets. Processes of management, innovation, and marketing are all run by the artisans.
वो एनआईडी में किया था एनआईडी में किया था वो काफी टाइम से चल रहा है
बहुत ही ज़्यादा चल रहा है आज भी
और डिजाइन होता है वो डिजाइन अभी तक बदला नहीं है वो बदलने वाला भी
बहुत डिमांड है इसमें आज भी बहुत सारा बिकता है
विदेश में भी डिमांड है तो इंडिया में भी एक्सपोर्टर में
ये जो आप डिजाइन जो आप बनाते हैं वो पहले के ही है या उसमें भी
नहीं डिजाइनों में बदलाव आया डिजाइनों में बदलाव ऐसा है कि पहले तो हम प्लेन दरी बनाते थे उसके बाद में एनआईडी से हमें और डिजाइन मिला था तो उससे हमने ये डिजाइनें की और कलर कॉम्बिनेशन बदले उसमें भी ऑर्डर मिलते रहे कैना पेन के समय में हमको प्लेन दरी का ऑर्डर मतलब प्लेन दरी सिखाई गई थी बिल्कुल उसमें डिजाइन वगैरह नहीं था उसके बाद में जैसे जैसे डिजाइन का तौर तरीका बदलता गया वैसे वैसे बदलते गए आज भी अब ये डिजाइन तो ये है और पार्टी कहती है कि इसमें कलर कॉम्बिनेशन चेंज करना है तो उनके जो कलर कॉम्बिनेशन होते हैं उनको लगाया जाता है
An uncommon example of self-reliance through mutual learning, Jawaja has inspired individuals and organizations across the world. Development is about people, not about statistics, says Ravi Matai of the Rural University. We were 3 young women, just out of university, eager to make a difference to rural folk. We had visited Bal in Saurashtra, a vast wasteland affected by poverty, patriarchy, and oppression of every kind. We knew about Jawaja and went to talk to Ravi Matai. He was the only one who encouraged us to see the difficulties in Bal as resources for change, to understand the people first, and to try and understand the situation from their perspective, not ours. And then to go ahead as partners with care and respect. After all these years, we look back. Jawaja was the seed from which we grew, says Nafisa Bharat, Uttan, India.